Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome back to our presidential election forecast of the 2020 election. And, well, we've had about a week of national polling, and we don't really have much in the way of state-level polling since the debate. However, basically all but one forecaster or one pollster has found that the race has shifted in Donald Trump's favor nationally. Right now, the averages are showing, and let me see if I can pull up this, because I can show you basically three different aggregates. Once this loads, here we go. Thank you. Now, I don't pay to actually see the forecast, but thank you for loading like crap. That is just over a 3-point lead nationally, which is, well, let's pull up the general election here. I'm just going to do I should probably look at the 5-way because it's getting pulled frequently enough. The current RCP average moved from, here it is it was June 27th. Here it is right around the time of the debate. 1.5 lead for Trump, and then all of a sudden we are now at a 3.5 point lead for Trump if we go by the RCP average. Just over a 3-point lead for Trump if you look at Nate Silver's forecast. He's no longer affiliated with 538. ABC fired him from his own company. And if you look at the national average that 538 has compiled, here it is right at the debate, which is basically dead even, and here it is now, which is about a 2.2% lead, 2.3 by their reckoning. And some of these have been really good for Trump, and some pollsters have started polling other candidate matchups. And Trump is basically leading them all. Surprisingly, it depends on who you look at, but yeah. It's gotten bad for the Democrats. How bad has it gotten? Well, if we really are looking at a Trump plus 2 to 3, depends on who you ask, that would represent, let's use, we'll look at RCP. And if we want to look at the 5-way race, we can see basically the exact same thing happening. Which it's increased from, where's the debate? Right about here. That's actually what I expected to see. Here we go, the 27th. Trump up 2.6, so that's 2.5. And now it's plus 4.9. And actually, one of the things that I expected was Kennedy's polling numbers to improve. So, yeah. That, by the way, would represent it's a 5 points. So that's a 9.5. Yeah, 9.5 point swing from 2020 to the polling average here. Whereas if you just look at the 2-way, it still represents a very large 7.5 to 8 point swing in favor of Trump. While I'm still going to be waiting for state level polling to iron it out, basically this is probably going to, I'm going to say it, every state is going to get every reasonably competitive state is going to get a shade lighter blue for right now. And I'll leave New York there, but I'd love to see polling. And basically, as of right now, these are all getting a shade darker red. Oops. And we're going to see how this affects. I still want to see some national level polling, but, shouldn't have to go down the list. But if we go to competitive states, yep. Then we go to next one that somewhat regularly gets pulled. Well, Florida doesn't get pulled anymore. Okay, yeah, so they're including the one pollster that showed a tightening race in their average, which that poll is a big outlier. And I feel like I shouldn't have to, state that. But I think a lot of people are going to cherry pick it when the opposite should be done, whereas we need to point out that that poll is a big outlier. Every other poll of the race so far since the debate has shown a widening race between the two, with Donald Trump gaining momentum and Biden losing it. That Bloomberg Morning Consult poll is showing the opposite of what every other pollster is saying. So I don't really buy that I just don't buy it. I don't buy that poll, but it is good to know that it exists. I mean, shoot. I mean, the only polls included in this are, these, but at least they're tracking that. Then we go to North Carolina. Again, that's reacting pretty heavily to that Bloomberg Morning Consult poll. Pennsylvania is the only place where they found a big old lead for Trump. Also noticing that they didn't include the Remington. Yeah, so they're basically excluding. So 538 is actually excluding some polls that are pretty favorable to the Donald, for whatever reason. I'm not saying that Remington's not a good pollster or anything, or I'm not saying that they are a good pollster or anything. I just think it's a little bit weird that they're being excluded. But that is a discussion for a different day. But if we look at, Nate Silver's, let's go look at the competitive states. Yep. So far, kind of what you'd expect. Okay, so I can definitely tell he included that one. Not sure if he's included the Remington polls, but who knows. Doesn't appear so. But still, his polling tracker definitely shows Trump being, doing extremely well. So, yeah. And I just don't see how this doesn't bode well for Trump, based off of the national polls that we've seen so far. That debate is turning out to be an even bigger train wreck for the Biden administration than I think anybody could have expected. We've actually got sitting members of Congress asking Biden to bow out of the presidential race. Apparently, there's rumors that Senator Mark Warner from here in the Commonwealth of Virginia is trying to get together a group of senators to ask him to bow out. Yeah, so this debate went poorly for Biden, and I think now is the perfect opportunity to, and also I should probably make Rhode Island there. That seems reasonable. All right. So, yeah. This begs the question, what would a landslide for Trump look like? We're going to do it like this. Oh, okay. So we're going to have to slightly change what we're looking at. That one. There we go. And we'll switch back. How bad could this get if polls continue to showcase Trump leading by as much as he is? Well, we can just simply do that. We can change. And honestly, we're just going to do one color for each, just to make it easy. There we go. Well, the obvious answer is, of the battlegrounds, Trump would obviously start by winning them all. Oops. Including Maine and the competitive second in Nebraska. It would also involve probably winning Minnesota and Virginia. New Hampshire would be on the table. New Mexico would flip. And this puts Trump at basically, where I would think the max would have been, say, in 2020. This is kind of like where it's like, this would have been the absolute best case scenario for Trump minus Virginia. Like, before the debate, this was what I thought was an absolute best case scenario for Trump. Now we're seriously talking about Virginia being in that best case scenario. Honestly, with how far the polls have shifted, I could see Colorado being in that. We've seen polling showing Illinois being competitive, polling showing Trump being extremely competitive in New Jersey. And honestly, if New Jersey is there, you could probably include Connecticut and Rhode Island, maybe. And let's say that polling in New York is accurate, and it very well could be. Absolute best case, if things continue to go down, go south for Biden, I wouldn't put it out of the question for New York and Oregon to be in there. This would be a big landslide. Is this going to happen? No. I highly doubt it. If polling shows anything similar to that, I will be a little on the surprise side. Realistically, I'm still kind of in this is probably the best case for Trump. I just really don't see it getting much better than this unless we get like one of those really long tail events that occasionally can happen. But I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And honestly, this might even be a little too good. I think realistically, we're still looking at this being kind of a more realistic maximum. probably this being, where things go. So we're going to go ahead and flip back to the main. Nope. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Just have to exit out and go back to my forecast. But as you can see, this is where I've got it sitting. I'm going to leave it here, though even this might be optimistic for Trump. But we'll see. We will see. There's still a little bit over right about 4 months to go until November, until Election Day. So it's getting close. It'll be here before we know it. I don't think people realize just how close Election Day is at this point. So anyway, I will see y'all next time. Likes, comments, subscriptions, they do help, and I greatly appreciate them. And I will see y'all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.